Welcome to episode whatever of Sweaty Record Review. I think it's 6. So, it's Thursday, right? And new records come out on Fridays. So, basically, I have 3 records a week I'm going to be reviewing if I work out normally. And so it's kind of stressful because what I do is I go to Tidal and I look at all of the albums that just came out, and I think, what am I going to listen to? What am I going to review? And even before I had the podcast, I did the same thing. I mean, the YouTube thing. I would do the same thing. I would just figure out one thing to listen to and try and understand. And so I realized I should probably mention this is not going to be sort of like anything review. I usually have to find something interesting that I like about it. I'm not going to listen to, I don't know, some new country record that I don't like at all just because I want to review it. So there's usually something that draws me in. And so I'm probably never going to review something and just be like, it stinks, unless it's a really important record that comes out. So one of my criteria is just things that seem interesting. So I remember in high school, my buddy Brad, we would laugh because we'd go to the bookstore and we'd totally buy a book because of its cover. I mean, if the cover was cool, why not buy it? So the one that I'm reviewing today, I absolutely picked because of its cover. I actually printed it out for you so you can see. It's by a guy named Six Lack is what a dad would call it. He pronounces it black, the number 6 for B. But I'm such a fan of being a dad and pronouncing things in dad ways that I like Cardib and Six Lack. So Black and his record East Atlanta Love Letter. Is that right? Yeah. And you see, I really related to it because he's got the baby Bjorn. And I remember when I was doing my grad school exams, I'd walk around with a book on top of my son's head in the baby Bjorn. And it looks like he's making pancakes there to make pancakes for my kids. So I thought, well, this looks interesting, like East Atlanta. So it seems like it might be about hip hop. But then it looks like it might also be about fatherhood. There's a certain amount of vulnerability there. And so I thought, I'll give it a shot. I've never heard of Black. I didn't know anything about it. So I just put it on. And after putting it on, I didn't actually fully understand it. It really defies genres in a way because the whole thing is downbeat. There isn't a single upbeat song you can dance to, so I'm a little bit less sweaty because I usually do a little bit more when it's upbeat. It's kind of soul, it's got kind of a trap beat sound to it. I mean, it's got the ricky-ticky hi-hats and fair amount of bass, but the thematics have nothing to do with hip-hop. The thematics are entirely personal. I mean, it's almost an emo record. He seems to be talking about his relationships, about his love, about his feeling of needing to be a good father and be a good man. Yet, he doesn't rap that much or sing that much about failing. I mean, usually when people sing about that, it's like, oh, I did something bad again and I'm such a sinner or I'm terrible. He seems to actually be fairly comfortable with his success as a human being and a man. Which is pretty rare, I think, in music. And I think it's nice to have somebody sing about that. The album begins, very immediately. If you listen to it, and I do suggest listening to it, it starts off with this kind of backwards sound and very low-key, mournful. He sings a little bit. There's only one instance of auto-tune in the whole record, and that's the first song. But it's actually pretty well used. And then the second song is a song which is called "Loaded Weapon," and he's referring to his penis. And it's funny because it's not like, oh, I'm a shooter or anything. It's just like, I have to be careful. And that's one of the themes of the whole record is he has to be really careful with himself. It's interesting because I imagine the single is the song with Future, who, if you don't know Future, he's like the main mumble rap guy from Atlanta who takes a lot of sedatives and raps like it. And even his song is good. I usually don't like Future, but it's just kind of a mellow track where Future doesn't do his, stuff. So it's a very consistent record in that way. Even when it has J. Cole on, who's one of my favorite rappers right now, in a song called Pretty Little Fears, it doesn't diverge from its general theme of this is just about my life. He sings about his life, about the difficulties of being an adult. So as you know, the only research I do is I look at the credits and I see who makes things, and then I might look up someone on Wikipedia. And so while I was trying to figure out what genre this music would be, because it's kind of rap, kind of soul, but not really either, I read that one of his biggest influences is Sade, and that made me laugh, partly because I've always ever called her Sade, just to be funny, but actually it really worked. One time, at some point in the past, I was, my girlfriend was making me dinner, and my girlfriend at the time was making me dinner, and she put on a song by Sade, and she's like, "Oh, you probably hate this. I'm gonna turn it off." I was like, no, it's fine, it's fine. And she's like, "You must hate Sade." I was like, I've never intentionally listened to Sade, and I've never turned off Sade in my entire life. Like, she's always been neutral to me. She's always been a positive force that makes music that I don't listen to. And I would say that if you like Sade, this is your record, because it's all in that kind of register. It's very smooth. It's interesting the way Sade goes between kind of smooth jazz and kind of soul, and this record does that, with a little bit of rap in there as well. I remember one of the things I didn't like about Sade was the term that they used for her was sophisti-hip-hop. So if I could continue that blight by calling this record sophisti-hip-hop. Okay, I thought about that one too long. But sophisti-hip-hop, I think, is right up there with arthentistic, with terms I'm coming up with on this show, with 3 subscribers at this point. Or I should say 3 subscribers at this point, although one of them is my dad. And when he watched one of the videos, he just goes, "You're not going to play the music?" It's like, no, I don't have the copyrights. So that's what I would say. I'd say if you like Sade, and if you like the idea of a hip-hop, rap, soul record that's searching for the nature of masculinity and fatherhood and how to be a good person, then this is the record for you. Definitely the best track is one towards the end called Nonchalant. It could just be because I like his vocabulary usage. But it has the best, he's sort of rapping about himself, and it's really the only real rap song, I'd say, because he raps most of the time, not singing. But he asks, do I even have the fans for this? Indicating like he doesn't even know if he has enough support to just be himself, to just be the artist that he is. And I'd say very much, he is a very real artist with a very real view. A couple other good tracks, a song called Switch that has Ty Dolla $ign, who's one of my favorite featuring artists. One time I tried listening to one of his actual records. It was the worst thing I've ever heard, but whenever he sings on other people's stuff, I like it. It's almost like an Enigma beat. Remember Enigma? Yeah. The whole record sounds like a mid-90s R&B British record, except made by someone in South Atlanta. In East Atlanta. Sorry, people who care about that. I would also say a song called Thugger's Interlude is nice because he talks about listening to Young Thug, which I did, and if I had this podcast a month ago, that would have been the record I reviewed. And he's saying how he likes it, but he says he's getting bored by trap music. And I think that's shown through, that maybe hip-hop is finally getting bored with trap music. So there it is. Very much not a pop record. I would say for my pithy review, my pithy one thing that I'm going to do to make the meme go, I would say it is the Sade of hip-hop in a good way. Oh, that's good. That works. Okay, back sometime. Wait, is that the camera? God damn it. I'm not, it's not an act. Okay, 1 second, Skye. Okay, so I'm talking to myself if I ever watch this video. This is looking to the right, this is looking to the left. Okay. Okay, after shower addendum. I hate doing this. I've already uploaded the video. I was doing it while I was taking a shower, but I just realized I didn't mention the best song on the whole record. I talked about Nonchalant as being great as a rap song, but there's this one song called Disconnect, and I gotta turn off the fan here, it's making too much noise. Oh boy, my hair. Hi. The song Disconnect is sort of, it may be one of the best songs about a breakup that I've ever heard. Even just listening to it once, it's very honest. It's clear that he's not angry. It's not like, oh, you did this or I did that. It's just got this sort of mournful, amazingly successful song about a breakup. Even the title, Disconnect, it's clear that he's singing about not like a break, but just something not quite working. And if you are in the mood to listen to a very sad and powerful song about a breakup, I think that's your song. It ends with the line of him just basically trailing off, saying, "I'm trying to work it out," which, if you've ever been in a failing relationship, is exactly how it feels. So, anyways, that's my after shower addendum. Now I have to edit it together, and it's a big pain, but it's worth it. Disconnect by Black off the album East Atlanta Love Letter. Hey, I remembered it.